morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And we have created this Wow Wednesday as a midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration to keep you moving forward, excited about your life, excited about your business, and optimistic on the direction of our world, our families, and our communities. So today we have a very special guest who is going to guide us. And let me ask this question before we kick in. Have you ever felt like, you're on this hamster wheel and you say, tomorrow's going to be better and I'm going to do this differently? And you make all these little promises to yourself, but then something gets in the way of keeping that promise. Well, today, our guest, Dr. Sreelatha Meleth, who we call Dr. Sree, is going to show us how we can break some of those patterns to consistently move forward. So I know you're excited about that. And I'll bring her on in just a moment. Before I do, I want to share some exciting announcements happening in the wonderful world of Women's Prosperity Network. And that's beginning with our 2-day legendary, and I'll tell you why it's legendary in a moment, our legendary Level Up Mastermind experience. So this is a 2-day event happening June 14th and 15th. And as part of our commitment to give each and every one of you the tools, the resources, the education, the training, and the connections to ensure that you're hitting your goals, making the impact, and making the income you deserve, we provide this Level Up workshop twice a year, once in December and then again in June. And we're going to pause. It's about getting out of the day-to-day running of your business to kind of take that helicopter view and say, okay, where am I now? Where do I want to go? What's those goals, those intentions, the North Star you're moving towards? And what's the gap in between? So we're going to work together over the course of this 2-day mastermind to dial in, tapping back into your vision, taking a look at your strategy, and combining this with a proven 7-step system to level up your business. So if you are saying, you know what, I'm doing pretty good, or, oh no, I'm really not on track for my goals, you want to get yourself to the Level Up Conference, and you can get all the details at our website. Just go to the events page. And it's really key to running a successful business that you take this time to check in with yourself, to check in with your goals, and check in with the vision of why you're here, your purpose, and your fulfillment. So we're very excited about this workshop. I've got some new guest speakers that'll be joining us, and Dr. Sree is one of them. And I'm going to be sharing new advanced strategies in today's marketplace. I mean, we've got artificial intelligence now. We've got, the ChatGPT. We've got new marketing strategies. Maybe the marketing you did at the beginning of the year isn't working and you're wondering why, and you're sick of beating your head against the wall. I'm going to show you a proven path through all of that. So grab your ticket and I'll see you at Level Up. Today, we get to begin the process of leveling up our lives with Dr. Sree here to guide us on how we break those patterns that may be in the way of the success, the dream life that you deserve. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Sree. She is a transformational life coach and certified EFT practitioner, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And as a transformational life coach and public health researcher, Dr. Sree founded Freeing Ourselves to help her clients overcome self-doubt and reach their highest potential. Welcome, my new friend.
Thank you, Nancy. It's such a pleasure to be here. I've enjoyed Women's Prosperity Network, and it's really helped me to focus in and create a lot of connections that are creating many more collaborations. So thank you for creating it. And thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm looking forward.
You are most welcome. And, we started Women's Prosperity Network back in 2008. And it's a joy for us to see how our members connect with each other, the growth that they have through the process. And one of our commitments is to create this beautiful platform to shine the light on extraordinary leaders and women just like you. So I am grateful to have you with us today, and tackling this really big issue that gets in the way, for so many of us. In okay, tomorrow I'm going to do this, and then we don't. So help us, help us.
So one of the things that I think we need to realize is that when we break a promise to ourselves, what are we telling ourselves? We are telling
Mm,
ourselves that we don't matter, right? You just spoke just before we started the recording. You talked about I don't have a problem keeping promises to others, which is true for most of us. We
mhm.
will almost never break a promise to somebody else. But when we make a promise to ourselves, it is no, let me do this before let me do that. So there are several things that go into that, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
And I can relate it. I mean, so many different instances pop into my mind, but it's like, okay, so I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow.
yeah,
If I was meeting a friend or meeting a trainer, I would show up.
yeah,
But when I'm sitting at home and say, oh yeah, I was going, oh, but maybe I'll do the laundry first. Oh, I really got to do this thing first. Oh, but and in my mind, when I've done that in the past, it's like, oh, I don't matter. It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter because we don't complete that though. It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
I don't matter. And it's particularly important to realize this when you're entrepreneurs, right? Because what are you doing when you're standing in front of people and telling them, I have services for you and
Mhm.
I can help you in XYZ ways. But if the internal dialogue is you don't matter, that energy automatically comes out. And it is very difficult to convince someone else that you will service them in the way they need to be if you are not taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, who will? And and this is the big the thing that we always talk about. Use the oxygen, put the oxygen mask on yourself before that's it's repeated so many times that it's almost lost its
Yeah,
value.
it's me and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, and so as you're sharing this, and we work with lots of business owners and entrepreneurs, and the common challenge that people tell me they're experiencing, I'm not making enough money, I don't have enough clients, I'm confused about marketing, I don't have enough leads. Well, here's a thought. If that's been the conversation in your head and what you in your experience, and it hasn't changed, perhaps those aren't the real issue.
exactly.
Let's get to what's underneath that. And um oh, I'm so grateful for this. So go ahead, you continue, help us.
Yeah. So what happens? So what we want to do is we want to really go into that space where you make a promise to yourself and get to that point where you are there's a thought that so suppose you say I'm going to sit down today and create all of this, write all of these emails for this marketing. Suppose that's what you're going to
Mhm.
do. And just before you sit down there, I was in another conference recently where the host said it's a very subtle thought. It's because our subconscious is so sneaky
Oh,
that
and clever.
yeah, so it might be, oh, but I had promise somebody else that I would do this, or I need to go and get the groceries, or I'm not ready for dinner, or, whatever it seems like a very innocuous thought, but
Mhm.
it's what stops you. So the question then is, okay, to first realize I'm doing this, right? Because most of us are so unconscious of it. We know we are breaking promises, but then we don't know where that
Where the
break actually
is.
happens.
And we can create great I'm going to say reasons why we don't do the thing in the moment. And
Yeah,
I use the word reasons because we don't like justifications.
yes,
We don't like that word, but that's really what it is.
exactly. And in my mind, there are three reasons why we don't step up and do what we need to do.
Okay.
In fact, I was talking to a client yesterday who's in the same position. She's been trying to create a lead magnet and not. And so the first thought is, what if I put it out and nobody responds, right? So it's the fear of failure. Oh my God, I'm going to do this, and nobody wants what I have to give, and so I
Mhm.
would much rather close my. I talk about, if I've gone out and put something out and nobody has responded, all I want to do is crunch up, go under the covers, and not be seen ever again. So
Is
it's
that fear of rejection or fear of
a
criticism?
fear of, yes, it's a terrifying thing, and but much more insidious than that is, oh my God, what if I put this out and lots of people sign up? What am I going to do then?
Yeah.
You know, I I don't want to be beholden. This is an actual quote from someone. I don't want to be beholden to holding sessions when I'm away on vacation. I want to be able to have my own time. How is this going to affect my family? Who's going to take care of maybe the PTA meetings or the dinner or the lunch, or what
Yeah.
will happen if I get really busy? I'm not sure that I want that, right? So one of the things is to be extremely clear and be settled and in your body in why you are doing this, what your value is. So that is one of the first steps. Then it is to make sure that you the reason you are so terrified of failure is often where I take my clients is, I take them to that place where they're about to present and they're terrified of failure,
Mhm.
and I get them into their body and ask them, when did you first feel this?
Ah,
What
right.
was
Because what's happening in the moment of fear, what I'm hearing you say is it's actually triggering a memory from the past.
absolutely?
Yeah.
Um, Bruce Lipton talks about how 95% of our actions, reactions, decisions are based on our subconscious mind,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of what goes into the subconscious mind, it goes in there between the ages of 0 and 6, where we have no discernment.
Yeah.
Everything that happens is truth. So often what we find is that it goes back to a place where you were rejected, where it felt terrible. And there
Mhm.
is that little part of you, that little version of you inside that is saying, no, 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 don't do that again. I don't want to feel that again. I don't want to be there again. I just don't, I'm terrified of having to feel that. So it is that 5 or 6 or 7 year old, or maybe even a teenager who's running your marketing for you, is what a
Right.
colleague,
Well, that,
you know. So what we have to learn to understand is that we need to hold that, we need to recognize, acknowledge that little one who didn't get healed, who never felt safe. And once we learn to make her feel safe, then we are able to present ourselves in our full light. Until then, she is the person who's triggering us and acting. Another really important point to make is that Dr. Porges, who developed the polyvagal theory, talked about this. I love this. I've been talking about it a lot. So, there's this word he created called neuroception,
Okay.
different from perception. And what he says neuroception is the fact that our neurological system has evolved to constantly scan the environment to see if you
Right.
feel safe or not, right?
Yeah.
So, but what happens is that when we don't feel safe, the people whom we are interacting with also don't feel safe because we transmit that.
Right.
We've
The
all
energy
been talking
out.
about energy, people absorbing your energy. And this is not woo woo anymore. It is actual science because our neurological systems are feeling unsafe. And so, what we need to do is we need to learn to before we do anything like this that feels unsafe to us, we need to learn to settle into our bodies, get completely safe, and then step up, because then we are able to hold the other people who are also most of the people who come into networking meetings or come into events are all in their own world of insecurities. And so, if you were able to stand up and hold them in a space of safety, then they're able to feel that, oh, this person knows how to make me feel comfortable and safe. So that's one place we need to go to and heal. And EFT is an extremely powerful way to do that. The reason I say I'm a public health researcher is because I have a PhD in applied statistics. So I'm not a medical doctor, but I have spent a lot of time in health research. I have spent a lot of time assessing studies, and I know that the scientific basis underneath EFT is solid, right? So it's now used it's a validated process for use in veterans administrations for PTSD and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's talk about EFT because I'm familiar with it, but there may be some people here who aren't.
Yeah,
Um, and if you would, so I want you, here's my question. Describe EFT, emotional freedom technique, and then how do we use this to heal that wound that's still existing?
yeah. Thank you. So EFT is emotional freedom technique. It consists of two parts, right? So we are tapping on acupressure points, which are it's the same points that people use in acupuncture. It's the end of the meridians. There are different points all across the face and body. Like there are thousands of meridians, but we typically use the points around the face, in the chest, and under the arm. And I have a diagram which I can send to you if we need to share the EFT points. There are two aspects. We also state out loud what the issue is that we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The theory behind it is that so the statement is something like, even though I feel this, I fully and completely love and accept myself, and I forgive myself. So that first statement, even though I feel this, is considered similar to exposure therapy, right? Because it's no longer hidden, it's no longer something that is underneath your subconsciousness. You're bringing it out into the open and letting it see the light of day and
Kind of
saying,
like that which we resist persists.
yes, yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I always
and
wondered why we did that.
yeah, so that is the reason for bringing it out into the open. And then the second part of it is that instead of beating yourself up about it, right, that you're feeling that, when you say, I'm I fully and completely love and accept myself, and I like to say I forgive myself, it is a form of, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychotherapist, but it's considered a form of CBT, where you are changing the thought around this this negative feeling that you're having, that even though you have it, it's okay. You can still accept yourself, you can still love yourself. There is a way to work through this. So that's that aspect of it. Then what happens is that when we bring that statement up, our our autonomous nervous system gets activated, right? So because it's associated with a lot of stress, we are in fight flight, mostly fight or flight mode. We could be in freeze mode. So when we tap on the acupressure points, the sympathetic nervous system is tamped down. It is allowed to settle down, and our parasympathetic system, the the good part of it, the part of it that allows us to be receptive, that allows us to be, allows intuition to work. So the when you're in fight flight mode, all the blood drains from the brain to the limbs, and right, so that you're ready to either fight or flee. Once that that automatic reaction, physiological reaction is cut off, then you're again in a place where you're receptive, where you can actually hear this reversal of this thought that you know there's something wrong with you because you're feeling this. So that's why it's so effective. And what happens often is when you're tapping, things come up that you didn't even know needed to be talked about, right? And if you are like as a practitioner, when I am interacting with clients or a client, I get, because I'm also tapping, I also get intuitive hits about what it is that they need. And sometimes they say, oh my God, I was just thinking about that, and you said it. So 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 it's an extremely powerful technique. And once you do this, and you kind of bring down the stress associated with the fear, say it's the fear of failure. And one of the things we do is, you asked what do you do about the fear. You actually imagine, there are two ways to do it. You can actually imagine that little one is here, and tap and think that you're tapping on her. And
Ah, oh, that's good.
yeah, and so she starts feeling safer. What I then typically do is I take my clients through a meditation where I ask them to interact with that little one. And I say, talk to her and ask her, first of all, apologize for not acknowledging that she exists. And then ask her, what can you do to make her feel safe? What can you do to make her feel honored? And I recommend that my clients do this all the like have a time, like 5 or 10 minutes in the morning every day, once we have discovered this part of us, to just interact and make him, her, them feel safe. The next part of it is to create the future vision, right? I heard someone a year ago talk about creating future memories, and I love that idea.
Great term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know where you want to go, and you tap that in to your physiology. Um,
So,
because
for example, can I give an example?
sure.
So let's say, going back to the illustration I did earlier, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough clients, or marketing's overwhelming, you know you need to write that email sequence, but you don't. What I'm hearing is you create the future memory of yourself with all of those challenges solved, and you're living the way you want to be. Your business
Exactly.
is successful. So you tap in the future memory.
Yes, you tap in the future memory.
I want to do that.
Yes, you tap in the future memory. In fact, I had someone I worked with recently. I think it was in January. So she was at a point where she was only charging $2,000 for her. She had only ever charged $2,000.
Mhm.
It was worth much more than that, right? So we started talking about, okay, what if you increased it to 4,000, and then we checked to see where she was feeling, what she was feeling in her body.
Yeah.
We tapped that out, and we did all of this, right? When did you start feeling this and all of that? So we tapped that reaction out. And we went up. She just, I think, a couple of weeks ago charged $10,000 for her program. And it's a vital program that helps people get much healthier. So it's
Yeah.
well worth it. So it what I've realized is that when we talk about manifestation, which is what we are doing, right? When we are creating this future memory, what we're doing is manifestation. But if your physiology is reacting to it in a negative way, if you're saying, if when you say these things that I'm going to do the marketing that I need, I'm going to be in enough networking meetings, I'm going to speak in enough places.
Even if you're doing positive affirmations that feel like little lies we're telling ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you're saying, I am a millionaire, but oh no, you're not.
Yeah, yeah. And you can actually feel where it is in your body that you're feeling it. So if you're able to work with that and tap through that and get to a place where your body actually believes the affirmation, that's when actual manifestation will happen.
So good. Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
good. Oh, I could talk with you for hours.
thank you.
And I am really happy that you are going to be one of our featured speakers at Level Up, because as I'm taking everybody through these 7 steps to take your business to the next level, they're going to be sitting there going, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. They need you because there's that little girl who's probably not healed yet. And our commitment for all of you is that you do level up. We got to clear away whatever might be there, and that's what Dr. Sree is all about, supporting you in.
Yes, yes,
Super
and
exciting.
thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to open up for questions now, and any final comments or tips that Dr. Sree wants to share. So if you're with us on the phone, you can hit *6. If you're with us on Zoom, you can just raise your hand. If you're with us on Facebook, put your question or comment in the comments below, and I'll make sure that I'll bring that question to Dr. Sree. And I know we're just kind of touching the surface here today with how you serve and really taking people through breakthrough to what's next for them. So I know you've got a gift for everybody. Please describe what that is. I'll get the link in the chat and all that good stuff.
The gift has three videos in it, which takes you through it. It gives you a sheet that talks about why am I afraid of success, and it guides you through filling it up. And then I tell you in the next video how to create a tapping script from that form that you filled in. And then the last video is just bringing it all together and telling you how to use this in your business, and also to give me a call and let's talk about how I can help you move forward.
More specifically, beautiful, beautiful. All right, and let me share the link with everyone. And that is, give me just a second. So you're going to go to freeingourselves.com/break the pattern. And you'll get these 3 videos. So it's 3 videos, right?
Yeah,
I'm typing it in the
about
chat.
video and stuff like that. I think so.
Okay, so go to freeingourselves.com/break the pattern. And grab that. I can't wait to get it for myself. Very excited about that. All right, we're going to go ahead and start taking some callers. First up is Olivia Jones, and then I'll go to Laura Barker. Olivia, are you ready? Dun, dun. There we go.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Yes, I am ready. Good morning. Good morning, Sree.
Hey, Olivia, how are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. How are you this morning?
I am really well. I am well. I've enjoyed
Thank you.
this.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here to be able to share this morning with freeourselves.com, breaking the pattern. It's so funny. I have to share this testimony. I have been just going through a time of emotional uh, angst. And I was like, I'm going to get on WoW. And I was like, I'm not going to get on WoW. And I'm going to get on WoW. And then I said, I had to walk around for a minute. And then I was like, oh my gosh, Sree is speaking today. And I just have to share that Sree, I've been on her podcast, and she and I are on a book collaborative on purpose, the On Purpose Woman, the Holistic Guide to Spiritual Entrepreneurship. We have shared in writing that book together. So I just had to share that. And it's the exact thing that you're talking about is just what I need to overcome certain fears. And so my question is, as this works, I could do it on myself. So I would be able to just tap on myself and I can pick up on that little girl within me to overcome and break through those barriers that I have created. Like I've done a lot of work on myself already, but I'm right at that space where I am ready
Going
to
to a new
break
level.
through. Yeah,
Every-
yeah,
Anytime we're going to a new level, that those fears can show up.
Yeah.
yeah. And so my question is, I could do this for myself, and the videos will help me to do that, Shree, Dr.
The
Shree.
videos will start you off. The videos will not do everything that you need, right?
Okay,
They're
yes,
kind of eight,
of course.
10 minute videos. I will say that if there is, in order to heal the wounded parts of ourselves, I would say that you would need one-to-one support. You need a person to hold the space for you so that it is safe for you to do this, because what happens if you're doing all of this by ourselves is it can get really scary to to do this kind of healing work, because some, depending on what the trauma is, right, some of it is are things that you don't want to go back and revisit by yourself. So you
Right.
do need to be in a space where you're held and you feel safe and there is somebody to guide you through. So my I would say you can do some of it by yourself. You can learn the technique and use it for like, if you're feeling stressed just before going on stage, you can learn to tap and sort
Hmm.
of reduce the anxiety. But for actual deep healing, you do need a coach. You do need somebody to hold the space for you. Does that make sense,
Okay.
Olivia?
It does. It does. Yes. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Awesome. Thank you,
So good to
Olivia,
see you.
for
Thank you.
for listening to the voice that said, "I'm going to get on WoW today," not all those other voices, right?
Amen, Nancy. Yes, it was meant to be.
Meant to be. Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing and voicing what so many others are experiencing. And I love and appreciate you.
Thank you, Olivia.
Love you too, Nancy. Love you too, Sree.
Beautiful. And Dr. Sree, the answer that you just gave goes to a question I got on Facebook from Nicole. And she's like, why is the inner child work so important? And why does it feel so awkward? And I think what you just spoke to about, it's important because the wounds are still there, and it's awkward because I don't want to go relive some of that trauma. And if I dig it up, what if I can't get out of feeling crappy? And
Yes, exactly. That's why it's really important, particularly for those who have had severe trauma, right? Sexual abuse, physical abuse, alcoholism, and things like that. There really needs to, we really have to be really careful. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, you can just take this and do it by yourself. And first of all, you probably need therapy, but this technique will help you heal as long as there is a space that is safe for you to be held and allowed to feel that it is safe for you to go. And EFT actually has very specific techniques to
Mhm.
deal with trauma where you are, if you know, where you only go as far as you're ready to go. So we have various different ways in which, depending on what the person is going through, to graduate the healing, so
Yeah,
that the person is in complete control of how much they heal and when they do it.
beautiful, beautiful. And I also love, which is new for me, hearing that, you're going to use the EFT to do clearing of the trauma, and this create tapping in the future memories is beautiful because nature abhors a vacuum. And if we don't fill it in with what we truly want, chances are some old stuff is going to come back in again. But
Exactly.
we're going deeper, right? Me and you.
Yes.
I see you and I can talk for hours. I know it. All right.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Hey, listen, get started, everyone. Get those free videos from Dr. Sree. Go to freeingourselves.com/break the pattern. Let's break the patterns. Okay. So freeingourselves.com/break the pattern. All right. Next caller is Laura Barker. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Sree. This is so fascinating to me. I actually experimented with tapping some years ago after taking a Mind Valley course
Uh-huh.
and then reading a book. So, really trying to just do this on my own, right? And
Yeah.
I can say from experience, that's probably not the best strategy, right? And so I have a couple questions actually. So you mentioned, I think that you really need that kind of one-to-one individualized support, right?
Yes.
So two questions around that, and that is this: um, first, can you get any benefit from doing it as a group? Like, do you offer any kind of group coaching, or does it work that way?
It it can work that way. What happens when you're in a group is that although there is a group, you can also do it one-to-one tapping. And
Uh,
one of the things that happens when you're doing tapping in a group is that everybody gets the benefits of the
Right.
tapping. There's actually a benefit to doing group work rather than one-on-one work.
oh, wow,
Provided you create the container where everyone feels safe, right?
gotcha.
Because yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I love that. I love knowing that. And the second question around that is, I think you also mentioned that you said something like, and you would probably need therapy. So, I wonder. So, one is that something that you can provide,
No,
or is that something different?
yeah, that's something different. I'm not a
Oh,
therapist.
oh, okay. Just wanted
I
that
am, like I
clarity.
said, my doctorate is in applied statistics, which is
Oh,
extremely
I missed.
different from
I,
therapy. But
I think I
uh,
missed that. Yeah, you need
yeah,
therapy if you're taking statistics. That's my thought. Or I would anyway. Hey, listen, I just really want to thank you for this and getting the videos, but would love to also know about your group uh, options. If we can get that information, that would be great.
I'll get that to you. Yeah.
Great, thank you, and thank you, Nancy, for always bringing it. Love it.
You're most welcome, my friend. All right. Go to freeingourselves.com/break the pattern, all one word. All right. Next caller is going to be Peg Duchesne and then Mary Jane Charles.
Good morning, Nancy. Thank you so much. Dr. Sree, thank you for what you've brought to us this morning. It's so fascinating to me. My degree is in psychology, and I just love the overlapping of the EFT that you've brought to us today. And the statement that you said, even though I feel this way, I fully and completely love and forgive myself, reminds me so much of the Ho'oponopono,
Yes.
Yes.
And neurolinguistic training and just all the resources we have. I'm so grateful that you have provided these meditations to us. And I cannot wait for the level up session that you'll be doing for us. And you stress the importance of a safe space. And that's what Women's Prosperity Network provides to all of us. We always feel like we can be open and it's non-judgmental. They meet us where we are. They give us what we need. And I cannot wait for what you're going to contribute to the level up because it will be amazing. Thank you for that enlightenment of sort of the spider web of all the interconnectedness of the methodologies that we can tap into, pun intended.
Yes.
Oh, so good. Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for creating this space. So WPN, we've created this safe space, and you, Peg, as well as all the other members who show up, you bring that energy of trust, of allowing, of non-judgmental, being the one. So thank you for being the one when you show up.
Thank you for leading the way.
You're welcome. All right, let's go next to Mary Jane Charles. And then after that, we can go to Deborah Morrison.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you very much for this. I know that child within. She can be nice, but she's a pain in the neck because she gets me by the ankle. And I'm like, no, I'll talk to you another time. Get out of my way. And it is a continued conversation, like with most, quote, rotten kids are. It's always the same deal. Some people grow out of it. I can see it coming in when I'm trying something new. And I do very well at the gate. And this has been since first grade. And then everybody's pleased with, and then I take my foot off the gas. And I'm like, at this point in life, it's time to just floor it and get out of the mold and don't look back. Is that what I should do, Dr. Sree?
So what I would say is to say to the little one, get out of my way, I would say is counterproductive. What you want to do is acknowledge her. Acknowledge that there is a part of you, because she is a part of you.
Yes.
Right? So that is a part of you that is clearly not healed. And to push her away, which is what we do most of the time, we are pushing away things that feel uncomfortable. And the idea is to instead bring her up, look at her, and tell her that I see you. Tell me what can make you feel better. As I'm talking about that, I just want to say I've written a book called More Than Peace, Power and Presence Through Meditation. And one of the things that that book does is it has 10 meditations in it. And the first two are just learning to get into your body and understanding where your observer is. But then I take you through these meditations which allow you to bring in parts of yourself that you don't like. The part of yourself that's a bitch, the part of yourself that is jealous, the part of yourself that is terrified of stepping up. And there are these, so it's a book that can be used as a journal as well. And there are videos that go with the book. I just wanted to bring that in because what we typically do is we push away the part of us. We've been told it's terrible to be angry, right? Particularly women. So we push away the part of us that is angry. So when we push, it takes a lot of energy to push away these parts. But when you bring her in and when you hold her and bring her and make her feel healed and safe, you're integrating a part of yourself that you had pushed away into yourself. And that integrates your energy. That makes you much more powerful. So I would say stop telling her, get away.
Okay, thank you very much. That makes sense entirely. Thanks.
Thank you.
I love it. And thank you, Mary Jane. So good. And let me just mention, because now I want this book, don't you? So you can get her book, More Than Peace, Power, and Presence through meditation at the website. Just go to freeingourselves.com and you'll see up in the tab there books. So go ahead and grab it, and you can purchase it through Amazon and have it right away. And I'm kind of hoping that you'll do some kind of course with us to create these 10 meditations. I don't know, just saying.
Yeah. I actually have a course that combines tapping and the meditations together. It's called Peace, Power, and Presence.
Ah,
And
is that on your website also?
is not fully on my website. We had to
Okay.
revamp some of the sales page,
All right,
but
so get
it will
by
be.
Level Up, maybe we can.
Yeah, we can have that. Yes.
Can't help myself, kids. When I want something, I just say, I see it, I want it. All right. All right. I am loving this. So good, so good. Let's go to, I think we have Deborah Morrison up next, and then Nellie, if you have a question, we can bring you on after that.
Thanks so much, Dr. Sree. It's been very enlightening, and I resonate with so much that you're saying, and I'm of course curious to move forward with your resources. I want to resonate and respond back to something that either you or Nancy or in the ping pong back and forth said in terms of, well, perhaps you started, don't do this alone, perhaps especially if the trauma has been significant, and it's kind of like, we sometimes don't want to do something, corrective tapping, any other kind of modality, because we don't want to face the fear. And what I have experienced, and I actually am not a PhD by any stretch, an earned PhD, but I do am a certified grief coach. And what I know is that when people do not learn after some time to contextualize the abuse or the incident or the death or the whatever, they are living it again and again and again. And the first time I heard this, I was in a seminar and a person was raped and they were talking about it and it was horrifying. And the presenter said, really, you've been reenacting that all of this while.
Yeah.
And so once we can put this into our story as it's in our past, what is the lesson, et cetera. And so that whole thing about, like you said at the very top, our subconscious is a little insidious and sneaky, right? And so we're kind of, well, I don't want to go there because that's painful. Well, guess what, sweetheart? You're probably operating at about 80% or, with one spark plug, because that hasn't been completely freed. Now I have a quick question. Thank you. I've been in tapping a while, and just most recently out with Joe Vitale in California.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the practitioners there we're all tapping, and we're saying a sentence, I am fearful, which I found kind of just like jarring to me, because I always have been steeped towards, say, the positive, right? To your point, create future memories. So would you ever suggest tapping and saying, I am fearful, I'm fearful, I'm fearful, I'm fearful, I'm fearful?
Yeah,
or
because
would you
that's what
only take the...
Exactly. That's what the whole point is, right? To acknowledge that you are fearful.
Yeah.
And then, so there are different ways you can do this. You can say, for example, you can tap, I'm fearful, and at the same time also tap, I'm powerful. I can overcome this fear. I am fearful, but I can overcome this fear. I'm fearful, but I can overcome this fear. So you can either do one whole round of I am fearful and allow what is going on is that as you say I'm fearful and you're fearing it and you're feeling into that fear, your ANS is activated, right? So when you then tap, the parasympathetic system gets activated. So then the fear, the physiological reaction associated with that I am fearful is stamped down. So then when you tap in, I can overcome it, your physiology is much more receptive to it. Does that make sense?
Nice.
So it is
important.
Yeah, it is important to tap to the negative
Right.
so
And
that
it's
your body gets so that the trigger goes away.
and Deborah,
Very
I'm
good.
just as you bring this up, so thank you for it, because even with Ho'oponopono, which that's my daily
Sure.
tool,
Mhm.
and to simply just start, if you notice, oh, I'm out of whack or whatever you're feeling, whatever the
Mhm.
emotion is, and you jump straight to the Ho'oponopono prayer without acknowledging the feeling that you're experiencing, you don't get the same benefit. So you're like, oh, look at, oh my goodness, why am I being so judgmental about so and so's behavior and calling them an idiot? I'm feeling this. And you got to acknowledge that
Mhm.
first before going into the tapping or the Ho'oponopono, because that's how it gets applied in specific, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, good question. Thank
Perfect.
you,
Thank
Deb.
you.
Thank you so very much.
Oh, so good. I am loving this. I know you are too. Let this be the beginning of your relationship with Dr. Sree by going to freeingourselves.com/break the pattern. And I believe we'll have time for one more caller. Nellie Williams, did you have a question or comment to share?
Good morning, Nancy and Dr. Sree. I've been doing tapping for a long time, since I think the original
Gary
man
Craig.
to share this was Gary.
Gary Craig. Yeah.
Thank you. But I don't always remember to put it into practice because daily life gets in the way. So, it's a tool that I have in my tool belt, but I needed this reminder to say, yeah, go back, get that tapping going. And I've also found that you can tap anywhere, and you can tap where people don't even know you're tapping by tapping both hands together. So you're
Yeah.
getting all the meridians in the fingertips and thumb tips.
Yeah.
So that's just powerful.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Nellie. And I'm glad this wow awakened that in you again.
Yes.
So that's why we do what we do. All right, beautiful. All right, my friends, thank you for joining us for this Wow Wednesday. Dr. Sree, thank you for bringing your wisdom and your heart. I mean, can't y'all just feel how beautiful this spirit is, this soul, to guide us through and clear whatever is in the way of your greatness. So be sure to connect with her. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. All right, everyone, we'll be back next week with another wonderful Wow Wednesday. Until then, get out there, acknowledge your inner child, and let her know you love her and she can be safe, and take her through the process so that you can shine in your greatness today and in the future. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye now. Bye, Dr. Sree.
Bye.